Let's start. Muito bem. Então, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed attendees, thank you for joining us today for this webinar about Web3 and artificial intelligence, the new frontier of the tourism. I'm honored to be your host for this event, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more the profound impact that these new technology are having on the world of traveler. The tourism sector, one of the cornerstones of the global economy, is in constant evolution, and our journey today will take us to explore how to revolutionary technology, the Web3 and the artificial intelligence are playing a vital role in this transformation. Web3 is the next evolution of the internet, bringing with the decentralized blockchain-based approach. In doing so, the Web3 offers a great security, data ownership, and trust, which are the crucial elements in the tourism sector where travelers share the sensitive personal information. For the tourism sector, AI means price optimization, real-time data analysis, and advanced personalization. This is more convenient and traveler preference-tailored experience, improving customer satisfaction and loyalty. But now it's a privilege to introduce our guest speaker, Mafalda Ricca, CEO of Explorer, an economist with a proven track record in marketing, sales, and management. Mafalda has been working in tourism and culture tech sector for more than 16 years and have founded Explorer in 2019 with the vision of revolutionizing the visitor experience and home and on-site using the immersive technology and gamification. Explorer is now proven ready, an awarded platform that is scaling worldwide while introducing the Web3 and artificial intelligence in their winning formula. And our presentation today is addressed to this exciting intersection between Web3 and artificial intelligence and the tourism sector. We hope you have gained valuable insights into how these technology are shaping the future of travel. And now we look forward to hearing Mafalda Ricca's perspective and continue the discussion with captivating topic. The stage is yours, Mafalda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Walter. So good afternoon. I'm going to start to share my screen first. I think that you're already seeing, right, Walter?
Not yet.
Just check.
Okay.
Now you can see, right?
Yeah, now we can see.
Okay. Okay. So, first of all, thank you for inviting me for this webinar. I'm really happy to be here sharing with you some of my thoughts and some information about and updates about what we have been doing in these areas. As Walter told and introduced Explorer, we are a platform that mainly bets in AR and VR, gamification and blockchain for improving the visitor experience. And we are introducing and addressing this platform mainly for the tourism and culture sector. I will start to introduce ourselves with a video, and then after introducing our product and our platform, I will just share some thoughts about the main challenges and opportunities in the Web3 and with AI in mainly tourism and culture sector. So let me just play on this video. Good. Okay.
Why do we go to museums? Why do we travel? Once we enter an exhibition, what do? We see, we watch, we admire.
When I maximize, it stops. So once again, sorry.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Why do we go to museums? Why do we travel? Once we enter an exhibition, what do? We see, we watch, we admire, but we can't touch. Sometimes we can't even hear all about the amazing stories behind each exhibition or destination. Museums are traditionally built to exhibit and preserve ancient heritage or valuable art. But that is changing. What if we could touch, change, create, feel it, and engage with our five senses? What if we all could make a museum come to life? Or have a stadium tell you memories of great goals? Or even turn the streets of a city into open history books? That's what Explorer is all about. Expanding the physical limits of any museum or the archived stories of a city. Connecting travel and culture lovers to museums, cities, and venues. Allowing travelers to immerse on their stories and collecting unique benefits from that. It's all about going beyond just visiting, enabling them to change, to feel challenged and create, to connect, to share, to experience their favorite destinations like never before. And because the future is an incredible opportunity for extended and sustainable tourism, Explorer is reaching this future before anyone else does.
Okay, so with this platform, we are addressing our solution to multiple sectors and industries. As I said, mainly for tourism and culture, but also for sports and venues, and also for brands and retail and industry. So we have several projects in these different sectors. We have been awarded and recognized for several institutions, and I would highlight this last one, or the main recent one that we received from the World Summit Awards as the best global digital solution for tourism and culture. And we started Explorer on this context, right? There is a huge growing and a huge promising market and trends on AR and VR that is going to value 300 billion in 2024. We know that also that the metaverse is something that is really huge and really growing a lot. And also we developed our platform knowing that we were on the context of mobile gaming and in a context of the NFTs trading and blockchain. That was really interesting for us to combine and to use in a formula where we could introduce these technologies to all together improve the visitor experience in tourism and culture. So we are mainly talk about extended tourism, meta-tourism, gamification, and utility NFTs when we talk about Explorer. So now I'm going to share with you as I said, some of our thoughts and my thoughts on these topics, mainly Web3 and AI. And regarding that, I'm just going to start with some context. Now, we all know that tourism and travel is a sector that is huge and super important worldwide, 10% of the global GDP. And we also know that there was a big change in the way travelers were doing their trips around the world as soon as COVID arrived. So COVID really revolutionized the travel priorities and experiences, not only during COVID, of course, because they were at home, but after that, we all know that tourists started to evaluate different kind of things and started to, and after having the opportunity of, for example, trying and living and experience immersive experiences in museums and in cities, like visiting cities with VR and AR and things like that, they started to look at these experiences when they are traveling in a very different way. And all the priorities kind of change also with that. So in our target and in our main market, what happened was that our clients and museums and venues, they started to think about a new ways of monetize their experience, and they started to look at the way they were receiving their visitors on a very different perspective, trying to not only improve with digital technologies, but also in a way that they were trying to find new business models for their museums, because not only because they were in COVID, but also because after COVID, who knows what is going to have to be next? So a war, whatever. So they will need to be prepared to new business models and to new ways of doing tourism. We saw several phenomena in this area in terms of the digitalization of this sector. We saw many museums going virtual worldwide. More than 2,000 museums went on virtual tours with Google Cultural Institute from COVID. And so this was a huge opportunity for these places and these venues and these visitor centers to change the way they were approaching their visitors, the way they were also doing business. And so COVID really changed a lot the way the tourism were happening worldwide. Besides that, there was a huge opportunity for immersive experiences, and specifically for virtual tourism, not only because people tried immersive experiences when they were at home in COVID, but also because all the institutions and mainly museums and so on, they realized that there was a huge opportunity here for connecting, for opening their doors worldwide with no boundaries. And this was something that really changed, again, the way all of these venues and visitor attractions start to approach their visits. So how could or how can immersive technologies bring new ways of tourism, and how can virtual and meta tourism, and when I say meta tourism, I'm talking about metaverse, help on reinvent tourism in this new context? And can extended tourism, which is, when I say extended tourism, I'm talking about augmented reality and virtual reality applied to tourism, how can this create new business models and new targets? So this was exactly the main reflections that we saw that were everywhere in every minds of these main business owners and these main owners of museums and visitor centers. So could these museums and visitor centers and even cities converge to metaverse? So first of all, talking about metaverse, and when we are talking about Web3, we can talk and we can discuss several topics, but metaverse is one of the main ones. And when we are talking about metaverse, we are talking about a 3 billion market for 2024. And when we are talking about metaverse, we cannot ignore some phenomena that are incredibly amazing in terms of their numbers. That is platforms such as Roblox, for example, that have over 50 million daily users worldwide. This is a really important number that I always share. And every time I go for a presentation like this one or webinar, I always take a look at this number to see if it grows or if it's different or not from 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever. And every time I see this number is growing and is growing fast. So 50 million daily users daily, it's a huge opportunity for brands to communicate with the different users and mainly the new generations. And this is the reason why, and not only this, but this is an incredible sign that the world and that maybe new generations are really converging to these new platforms of metaverse. So we see this phenomenon of Roblox, and then we see the world moving to metaverse in a really impressive way. So we see that Epic Games, that is a company that is on metaverse, raises $1 billion with a round that was super important on this context. Then Microsoft invested $7 billion in the metaverse too. Then Meta announced a $10 billion investment in the metaverse. So the market is moving and the world is moving to something that is not going to ignore metaverse, and that is for sure. Are there opportunities in metaverse for the brands and for culture and for tourism? I believe that, of course, depending on the way we are approaching these platforms. So first of all, just giving you some context and information and numbers regarding metaverse phenomena that were happening worldwide. One phenomenon that was really viral and everybody talk about was the 12 million people attending to a metaverse Fortnite concert that happened while people were at home in COVID, but was really impressive how people were engaging with events and with even concerts worldwide with these amazing numbers. Then we saw several news arising in the markets coming from different sectors and different industries, and things such as cities like Seoul that is going to become the first city to enter a metaverse. Then we were seeing another phenomenon related to tourism. For example, Tourism Island that's starting to invest on a game where they wanted to show to the gamers a specific game with 150 million fans. They wanted to show the amazing landscapes that they have on this metaverse type game of Ubisoft. Then we saw several museums that started to going virtual and going on this digitalization and on these virtual worlds such as the metaverse, like for example Musée du Central. This is a museum, a metaverse museum that is hosting visitors worldwide and have a decentralized way of having artworks on their walls that people can use and can rent and can have a business model from that. Then we see Spatial, which is an important metaverse platform where we can see several galleries and several brands going there to have a digital version of themselves in the metaverse world. Then we saw several other phenomena, interesting phenomena regarding or addressed to the metaverse related to museums, such as, for example, the Serpentine and Cause partnership, where they started to have or where they launched a metaverse version of the museum and of this exhibition in the metaverse. And so they partner up with Fortnite in order to have a digital version of exhibition for the ones that couldn't reach this exhibition physically. So it was like a complementary version for people that were worldwide with no boundaries. Then we saw another interesting phenomenon. This is recent. There is a partnership between Lego and Natural Museum, London Natural Museum of History, and they started to generate also a metaverse version of themselves for people to engage in the museum and with all the exhibition that they have there. Another interesting phenomenon with National Museum of Korea, they did a virtual version of themselves on Minecraft, which is also a metaverse, for kids to visit the museum and interact with the museum and interact with contents that they have. And it's like a super interesting way of doing entertainment for this museum. Another example of venues going virtual to the metaverse is the Manchester City. They teamed up with Sony in order to create a metaverse version of their stadium in order to host and to receive in this virtual version of the stadium to receive their fans. And so these were some examples that I picked up to show you that several brands and museums and venues are going to are already in metaverse. Also the context that why are they in metaverse, not just in case, it's because the new generations are there, it's because there is a huge movement of investment to these platforms, and this is not just in case. And so this seems to be an interesting way of communicating, an interesting way of engaging with the audiences. But what about the main challenges and opportunities for tourism? So the first thing is that this might be a way of monetizing experiences in the Web3 and also a way of reinventing new business models, because with these platforms, a museum or a city might be generating interesting business models like selling NFTs as artworks or something like that, in order to have alternative ways of making revenue. Another thing regarding, or another topic and thought regarding this metaverse is the way we are giving the opportunity to these metaverse platforms makes us think about the democratization of these platforms, which is something that we need to think about. If anyone in the world could have access to an internet connection, they could all go to these metaverse places and to these metaverse museums with no boundaries and with no limitations, yes or not. Then there's another opportunity that is interesting here that has to do with the new generations. So I share that number of 50 million daily users in Roblox, and this is not just in case. The young people and the new generations, the Z generation, the millennials, they are all used to go to these platforms. And so if we want to think about these future generations, we really need to take a look at these platforms too. There's some challenges here, so I'm sharing with you challenges and opportunities, but there are also challenges that we need to take a look at that has to do with technical constraints. I mean, when we are talking about metaverse, we are talking about people everywhere in the world going to a place and being there together online and interact with each other online. And this sometimes might have constraints of the session that they can participate in terms of the capacity of the servers and the access in terms of, in terms of the internet. They sometimes might not have a good internet connection and things like that. And also the graphics processing. It's not just in case that we sometimes see several metaverse that don't have really good quality. Because when we are developing a metaverse, we need to think that if the metaverse is something that we can access everywhere in the world from any place, from any device, this means that we need to have a good performance in processing all the renders that are being shown in that place, in that metaverse. And if we don't have a way of processing really fast, the experience will be really bad. And so mainly, most of the companies develop solutions that to be processed in terms of graphics in a browser, they need to be quite, I could say, not very heavy in order to have a good experience. And so performance versus quality of the graphics, it's something that is still a challenging thing to reach and a challenging topic to overcome. Another thing that is kind of a challenge when we are talking about metaverse, and we cannot forget, is that being on metaverse is really demanding, which means that people expect that when you are going to a metaverse, you are going to reach a community of people. And to have a community and to socialize, to interact with other avatars, with other people worldwide, there must be a community, there must be an investment on this community. And sometimes it's not easy for a brand to do this investment because it's quite expensive and it's quite demanding and it's really time consuming. It's a daily exercise that marketing departments need to do on building these communities. And so metaverse totally makes sense only when the brands have the opportunity and sometimes have the money to invest on community. Because if there is no community, if I just go to a place that is a second world and a virtual place where there's nobody, maybe there's no sense on going to metaverse. I don't need to go to do it live. I can go on a virtual reality experience. I can go on a virtual tour experience. There's no metaverse. There's no community. There's no online experience. And so investing on community in order to have this social interaction is super important and challenging when we are talking about metaverse. Then talking about metaverse is always investing in 3Ds and modeling 3D worlds, which is quite expensive too. And this is something that we still need to address, to find better ways to generate 3D environments in order to improve this formula. Nowadays, of course, that the artificial intelligence is giving us super tools to generate 3D environments. Sometimes it's just a sentence. There are already platforms where I can say, generate me a 3D environment, 360 of Asterix village. And these platforms now can do these kind of things, these kind of amazing things. But if you want to customize your environment, if you want to generate a digital twin, a replica or a 3D model of your store, of your venue, of your museum, of your city, normally it is quite demanding in terms of 3D development, which has a huge cost normally. Another challenge that we have here is, again, when I'm talking about having assets from anywhere in the world, we need to think that it will be amazing if everybody could adopt 5G. And we know that we don't have 5G from any place in the world in any geographic point. So it's something that is also challenging to give access to the internet, and especially to 5G, in order to have amazing performance in access to these virtual worlds on a browser. Then again, metaverse is a moment for socializing. It's a super moment for socializing. And it's super important that we have this experience together and not alone. And so this is a way, this is an amazing way, if we invest on communities, if we have the communities, it's a super an interesting way of visiting on an immersive way different places with some friends, with the school, with the group of my colleagues in my company. So this is an amazing opportunity for this kind of approach on these experiences. Another challenge that we have here is that it's always difficult to find the right balance between the virtual and physical. I mean, I don't believe, and I don't know, I don't believe that anyone that is here in this could believe on this. Going to, I don't know, Egypt pyramids, or going to Cappella Sistina in Italy, in real, physically, will never ever be replaced by the virtual version of this, by the metaverse version of this. And so we need to think about metaverse as something that will complement, as something that will have add-on experiences in the virtual world, but will never replace the physical. So finding the best balance between virtual and physical, and sometimes not giving just a replica of what people have in real world, but giving something more, it's super important to have a winning formula. Talking about more opportunities that are arising in this metaverse amazing phenomenon has to do with the new professions. So if we think that when we are going to metaverse, there is a need for so many different jobs and professions in the world. Things such as, if I go to a virtual city in a metaverse, why not to have a virtual tour guide that can guide a group of people that are online doing that visit? Or if I am looking at different houses for selling, why not to have a virtual real estate agents? And so why not to have also, for example, a metaverse stylist? That could be someone that is designing all the clothes from avatars. So there's a huge world of opportunities, of new jobs that are rising in metaverse. Architects, for example, curators, for example, marketing specialists only for this. So there's so many opportunities of new jobs that are coming up with this metaverse world that is super fascinating too. There are some challenges, again, that we can think about in other areas when we are talking about metaverse. And one is the legal part of this. Nowadays, there's a huge lack of legislation regarding metaverse, and that has to do with fiscal legislation, with the property rights of, for example, the NFT, with GDPR, with so many things. In one hand, metaverse could be a world, an amazing world of data for marketeers. Things such as I'm with my glasses, I look at the product inside a metaverse world, and for example, a marketeer could have analytics about my eye tracking, seeing that I'm looking at that product, and then will suggest me that product. But what about the ethics and what about the GPDR of all of this? How can we reach a balance of being not being really invasive and really intensive and the opportunities that we have in hand for marketeers? It's quite challenging. And the thing is that talking about legal terms, we still have a huge lack of legislation for this. Not only for GPDR, also for what taxes to have, for example, when we are talking about NFTs, things such as the property rights of the NFTs. For example, I have a replica of a physical NFT in the metaverse, but who is this replica from? Is it from the digital owner or from the physical owner? It's from both. So there's some things that we still need to discuss and to address regarding legals in the metaverse. Now, talking a little bit about the NFTs. I've mentioned NFTs several times during my presentation, and why the NFTs here? Well, NFTs are just digital assets that are in the blockchain, and that most of the brands might use as something that has utility and that has an interesting new business model for exploring. First thing, just to give you a context, it's super interesting to think about NFTs as a way that could help museums, for example, to have one-of-a-kind digital assets that is just one of a kind, and there's no way to have a copy on that. What I mean with this is that if I can have an original in my wall of Picasso, why not? I could have a digital original of a digital artist that is also something that is unique. So when you start to open this store of having the originals of digital, you started to open new opportunities in this tourism and culture world. The first phenomenon regarding NFTs with digital artists has to do with Beeple. Beeple was the first one to have an NFT in the world that was value in the art sector that had a value of $69 million, which was really, really huge. Then we saw British Museum that started to enter in the world of NFTs too, with some postcards that they make available in the blockchain. And we also saw phenomena such as Uffizi Gallery that started to sell, or that sold the Michelangelo NFT for $100,000. So of course that when we look at these numbers, 69 million and 107,000, they are amazing numbers for just a digital assets. And we all can agree that this might be a huge, or was a huge bubble, because we don't really think that this digital artwork might value $69 million. But maybe it might value something. Maybe we can pay for a digital asset that is as good and has the same kind of effort of development as a physical artist have. So why not to value the digital asset from a digital artist? And this is when the NFT started to open new opportunities. At Explorer, we are using NFTs as a way of having rewards in our gamification formula that will work as membership, like utility NFTs, an NFT that is a digital asset and that I can use on a museum to have different discounts, and then I can sell my digital asset because I don't use that anymore, and I can make money with that. That's an opportunity, utility on NFTs, and in our case, for tourism and culture. And this is something that we are developing at this moment. I think that we all know that the NFTs were a huge hype. Nobody believes that we can sell digital assets for $69 million. But again, removing this bubble, there's an opportunity, there's an interesting opportunity for having a new business model, a new business opportunity for the digital artists and for reselling digital art in the blockchain and with the NFTs. So again, NFTs are an interesting opportunity for monetizing and reinventing new business models. Again, I don't believe that we can sell it by 69 million, but why not to sell it with a value that is fair enough for the market that wants to have that digital art? Then NFTs might be an opportunity for going closer to the millennials and Z generations. When I'm talking about these digital assets and digital collectibles, I can talk with the new generation because they love to interact with these kind of technologies. Then there's an interesting phenomenon here when we are talking about NFTs that has to do with this decentralization of the power and control of this artwork. So now this artwork might be resold, might be an opportunity of selling, not for the big platforms like Facebook, like Instagram that can make money with the usage of the digital assets, but might be an opportunity for me as a freelancer and an independent digital artist to have the control and the power on my asset that is mine, is unique, and I'm going to resell on a marketplace, on a decentralized platform with decentralized money that is a cryptocurrency. Again, number 4, a super opportunity for the new artists and digital artists, and this is super important. Again, there's a challenge here for in terms of legal. Again, as the metaverse has a problem in here, there's still a problem to address in terms of legal regulation on NFT, tax regulation on NFT. That is still something to develop. And when we are talking about legal, and when we are talking about NFTs and legal wise, we can never forget that for the main, I would say, art keepers and from the main museums that are working with the traditional ways of arts, they will also have doubts on going from physical to digital assets, which is different from I am a digital artist and I'm going to launch my collection. It's different. When we are talking about the ones that are already in physical world, working with artworks, showing artworks in their museums, or reselling or renting their collections to other museums and so on, there's always a conflict between who is the ownership of the artwork. Again, the example that I told, if I have a physical original of Picasso and the digital version of Picasso, the owners of this artwork might be two different people, the one that has a physical one and the one that has a digital one, which might generate the conflict and the confusion in the market, and maybe with the legislation this might be overcome. Another topic that is important to mention when we are talking about NFTs is that most of the people, there are people when they are against NFTs, they normally talk about the CO2 emissions and the environmental concerns because of the blockchain that has some emissions to the environment. But sometimes we forget that when these museums are doing transportation and shipping of their artworks to another museum, when they are renting their artworks, every time they are doing this, the carbon emissions for example, an airplane that is going to the transportation is huge comparing to the NFT transaction in the blockchain. So what is going to happen after this bubble? I mean, are the NFTs something that might be an opportunity in this tourism and culture and this artwork markets? Maybe yes, maybe not only as the example of Beeple, which is an amazing example, but maybe not only as a digital asset, but why not as a digital asset that is unique, one of a kind, and has some utility index to these digital assets. For example, why not, if we have a digital collectible from a brand of a store or from a museum, why not to be part of a community of people that is preferenced and that has benefits on these places, discounts, special access to special events, utility to these digital assets. So I'm the owner of a digital asset in the museum. I might be someone that has a preference treatment when I go there because I'm a owner of an artwork that is in exhibition also in that museum, for example. So I would say that NFTs, yes, but NFTs with utility, with real world utility. So in my perspective, of course, that metatourism and NFTs might redefine the way we are doing tourism, and it's an opportunity there to explore, and to explore in a very professional way, because sometimes when we see these phenomena and when we see several companies trying to approach these technologies, if they are doing on a bad way, for example, if we are just trying to sell digital assets like the Bored Apes, that has no utility, no sense for using that, and we don't give more value, and we don't add value to these digital assets, maybe it's not going to work. So if companies are doing it properly, with utility, business-wise, as with a business model, professionally, a professional approach, maybe NFTs might have an opportunity here. And of course, talking about metaverse, it's not me that is saying, it's the world that is investing on this platform. And what about AI? Well, AI is predicted to have a created value in travel of 8.5 billion. And we all know that since December 22, which was the moment ChatGPT was launched with OpenAI, that many travel companies started to use AI to boost their businesses. Expedia, Booking, TripAdvisor are just examples, but there are so many companies arising in the tourism market trying to use these tools in order to improve their offers. But this approach or this usage of AI in travel or culture was not only started since December 22. This was the moment where all the doors opened for this opportunity. But before that, there were super interesting use cases of using AI in, I don't know, chatbots, in the virtual guides, even in travel planning with AI. So many companies that were already doing business with this. Nowadays, we just see that there's a huge access to these platforms that are open, like OpenAI, where we can explore some new business models. Here I'm sharing an example of usage of AI in culture, which was done by eBay, IBM, and Pinacoteca in São Paulo Museum. And it's not a recent example, it's an amazing example of a use case using AI for interacting and engaging with users. And I'm going to share the video of this project at the end. But it's a super interesting way of showing how can AI improve the visitor experience in a museum. Another example, and again, this is before ChatGPT, is what Google Arts and Culture is doing and was doing with AI, like recognizing your face and then telling you what is your art selfie, what are your match to the artwork that is worldwide from different important artists. Your art selfie, your face will look like this. And this is something that Google Arts and Culture started several years ago. And here, just to mention some examples, okay? Then what are the main challenges and opportunities for AI in travel and culture? The first thing is that AI, since this boom, is still generating generic results on planning, for example, for travel. And so many companies started to use AI as a tool for planning, but then we see so many companies are doing the same. So the ones that are going to succeed, I would say that are, of course, the ones that are going to really add value to these tools. So it's not only about asking ChatGPT what is the best place to visit, because ChatGPT and even Bing or even Google, everybody could have that. It's all about who is going to have something that is really customized, something that is really valuable for the end user, because the end user will have access to this everywhere, in every platform, in every device. So the way we use these tools, the way we find a new business model for this will be the main challenge. The way we differentiate ourselves from the others will be the challenge. Another super interesting opportunity that is in AI, and this one I can share it by experience, is that all the developers in the world are using AI for better code, which is quite interesting. But of course, we need to pay attention to the results, because sometimes the hallucinations of the AI are for real, and they can give you different results depending on the prompts. It's super important when we are talking about AI to think that there is a super opportunity, and there is a really important topic to take care of, that is the prompts that we are doing in the AI platforms. So it will be really important nowadays and in the future to have really good prompt engineers that are the ones that know how to train these bots, these machines that are learning with us, and the way you are asking them and the way you are delivering the feedbacks are super important for generating the right results. So prompt engineers and prompts are super important to have a better results when you are asking AI chatbots, for example, for some questions. Again, business models is not only about launching platforms that are going to give you an itinerary or tips on your travel plans. It's really all about having the best business model. Now I'm going to finish this presentation sharing with you a video that has to do with the introduction of AI in this museum that is Pinacoteca of São Paulo in 2017, no ChatGPT, and it's super interesting the way they approached the AI with IBM Watson in this museum. Sorry.
Há alguns estudiosos que dizem que o que diferencia mesmo os homens do resto dos animais é o potencial de fazer arte.
In Brazil, more than 70% of people have never been in a museum.
Eu gosto de arte, mas eu nunca tive a oportunidade de ir a um museu. Não é um ambiente que fala comigo.
O que esse jovem ou o que esse público que fala que não tem interesse em museus está precisando? Uma dessas possibilidades é que ele quer interagir mais com as obras.
O grande desafio para nós era relacionar a inteligência artificial com a arte. Porque normalmente em museu você encontra o quê? Aquele rádiozinho que você vai ouvindo. Você não interage de fato.
That's why IBM and Pinacoteca created, with Watson's help, an application where people can literally talk to art. Curators and educators have researched about the history of Brazilian art with books, texts, interviews, biographies, old newspapers, and even current issues related to the art pieces. Then IBM spent 6 months teaching it to Watson so it could talk about each one of the paintings and sculptures.
Qual o contexto histórico dessa obra?
Quantas bananeiras tem no Bananal?
E você gosta de jogar futebol?
Em 1934, o futebol já era um enorme sucesso no Brasil, mas trabalhando duro na lavoura. O mestiço provavelmente não tinha tempo para jogar.
Por que é um amor impossível?
O que são as duas figuras no quadro? Qual estilo de pintura foi usada nessa obra?
O bananal é uma mistura de dois estilos. O expressionismo é visto nas distorções da figura humana e o cubismo no paredão de folhas.
Eu acho super válido conversar com essa arte de uma forma direta, podendo fazer perguntas totalmente malucas, não tendo vergonha das perguntas que ela pode colocar.
Quantos anos ele tem?
Essa obra é de 1967. Se estivesse vivo, esse porco teria 50 anos e seria o porco mais velho do mundo.
De quem você tem saudade?
Alguns elementos podem nos ajudar. O chapéu pendurado na parede indica que tinha um homem na casa. A foto em suas mãos, as lágrimas em seu rosto e as roupas pretas nos levam a crer que esse homem morreu.
Tem a ver muito comigo, porque eu tenho saudade do meu pai. Muito.
And this is all. I think that I'm finished with my presentation. If someone wants to send me some questions or thoughts, share with me your thoughts on this, just feel free. And yeah, thank you again for being here.
Amazing, Mafalda, amazing. Today we conclude this exciting webinar that explores the intersection of Web3, AI, and NFT, and you are the perfect person to do that. Yeah, true.
Thank you so much.
Okay. This technology gives us a transformative impact on the tourism sector.
Yes, it's true. We just need to use it on the right way and to know how to use these tools, because the opportunities are there and are huge. Yeah.
Of course, of course. No, it's evident that that we are in an exciting moment in the history of tourism, where the technology is opening new horizons and new opportunities for travelers,
absolutely,
for businesses, and for visionaries like you.
Yes,
that we found the
I'm
Explorer.
just an
enthusiastic. And the Web3 is ensuring the data security, the transaction reliability.
Yeah. So many
this
things,
is
right?
This is a new world and a new approach
here, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our special thanks is for you, our guest, Mafalda. Thank you very much for sharing with us your valuable expertise and insights. And Explorer is for Nest and for all Tourism 4.0, an inspiring example of how these technologies are being applied in practice to enhance the traveler's experience. And we hope that the new ideas that you bring us and knowledge shared here today inspire the attendees, and and inspired to explore the new exciting possibilities of the Web3, the NFTs, and AI.
Yes, true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you have some questions to Mafalda, this video will be uploaded in the YouTube, but please give us your questions, and if we can,
my email address, then Walter can share, but it's Mafalda Ricca with @C goexplorer.com. Okay.
Awesome. So, thank you very much, Mafalda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.